So the drawing we see is a cell. It is the building blocks of life and what we're mostly made of. So starting off, we're going to talk about the cell membrane. What is the drawing of the green part of the cell now? The cell membrane controls what goes in and out of the cell. Cell membrane. There you go. It mostly blocks away the harmful things that once tries to go inside the cell and usually send out proteins out of the cell. So now the orange part of the cell now that's been drawn is the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the mucus-like in a cell, and it's mostly like 70% of the cell. So next on, we're going to talk about more what's inside the cell now. So the blue part in the cell is called the nucleus. The nucleus is the brain of the cell that controls what it does. And that's how you spell it. Nucleus. So in a nucleus, it usually contains the X and Y chromosomes that is going to be drawn real soon. 3, 2, 1, there you go. So the X and Y chromosomes, genes and DNA, take away all that. The genes and the DNA and the cell won't work at all. So now we're going to magnify inside the nucleus. So we're going to study more about the chromosomes inside the nucleus. As it says on the paper, magnified cell nucleus. So we're just going to wait until the nucleus is drawn. And now the chromosomes that are going to be drawn, we're going to wait for that. So now in any moment, there you go. So the chromosomes that are inside the nucleus are thread-like that carries protein and genetic information. And the chromosomes, there are proteins and genes. It's going to be labeled soon, so I'll just continue what's inside. So what a protein is made out of. So the protein inside is made from amino acid. Amino acid has a code to determine the order of the proteins. The protein is important to produce antibodies and transport molecules. So now here's the diagram of the gene. Double helix diagram, which is inside the chromosome. Gene is a small part of the DNA. Each gene has their own purpose. Amino acid is controlled by the genes and has an order to produce protein. So gene can control cell to make a brown hair. Genes are usually passed down through generations. Genetic code is the code in the gene that tells the instructions to the cell to make protein. The code are A, C, T, and G. And each code combine to produce amino acid that is needed to produce protein inside the cell. So now we're labeling genes. Thank you for listening about the cell.